Performance Coach. I am your host, Sean Butner, certified high performance coach. And this week we have been talking about the pace, the rhythm, the discipline, the consistency that you have in your life. And is that helping you excel and achieve the goals and dreams that you have? And so we've talked about if you're happy with your rate of success. We've talked about what to do when you're not happy with it, what to do when you have setbacks. And today I want to talk about the fun thing of how you can accelerate when you have a good rhythm, when things are going good, right? We don't want to just talk about when we feel like we're struggling, but when you have that momentum, when you have things progressing at a pretty good clip, so often we get comfortable, or so often we forget that we could look for distinctions, we could look for mastery, we can look for that next level of success that'll help us advance and succeed even greater at quicker speeds. So, um, this kind of goes back to if you've ever tried to learn how to play an instrument, right? So I'm a guitar player and sort of singer, sort of songwriter, but I've been playing guitar since high school, and it's one of those skills where I've had times where I've had focused lessons or focused creativity, or writing music or learning new tricks and finger pickings and all that kind of stuff. And really, when it comes down to is when you're in the zone and when you're learning, that's the time to figure out how to maximize that. If you get what I'm trying to say, or there's always a time in a project. I've had big software projects where I worked on where you kind of get in the rhythm of doing the work. So, you're actually writing the code. You're actually, figuring out the design to go forward. And when you get into that cadence and that clip, um, figuring out how you can finish and complete the tasks as quickly as possible or in a way that's better than you thought is, great when you're doing it. It's a lot tougher to go back and try to fix it or try to start over. So, with those two examples, how can you accelerate when you're in that good pace, when you're in that successful forward momentum? The first thing is to ask yourself a couple of quicker questions like, is there someone that does this better than you? I love this question because I have never run into a case where if after some thought you're like, yeah, it's, you know, um, Steve over there, it's Jeff, it's Matt, it's, there's always someone that's doing something better than you. And then you have to think, what are they doing different that I'm not? That lets them more effortlessly, more effectively, um, with more accuracy, complete the task, complete the thing, complete the progress forward. And that's kind of where we get into this growth mindset of continually learning. And it's something as a high performer, as someone that's trying to be the best human being, I really think that sense of growth and forward progress is essential to a lot of our psychological processes and things. So when we can figure out how to advance quicker, we just feel happier. So, getting into that growth mindset, how can they do it better? The second thing is if I had to improve this by 1%, what would I change about the task that I'm doing, the project that I'm working on, the goal that I have, the actual work that I'm doing daily to improve it by 1%? And you might ask, like, why 1%? Because 5% seems a little bit more overwhelming. But more importantly, I think this incremental improvement, inch by inch, is just a lot easier to handle. And you can try to improve it by 5% or 10% if you're feeling extra crazy, extra, confident about it. But I find it's much easier to say, what's that incremental improvement? And what you'll find will happen, it happens for my clients, it happens for me, is that when you try that 1% improvement, you're like, oh, well, maybe I could do this. And you kind of go on a whole different path. And so many times you're like, oh, if I just do this, then, things are better. And so that comes to the second point, is to operationalize the main tasks in your life. And what do I mean by that? It's, when I was a software developer, I had my process of, you get the requirements, you get the functionality that's desired. Then I had my process of chopping it up and then planning the work and then doing the work. And so that workflow, that daily workflow, was very clear to me. Now, switching a year and a half ago to figure out marketing and doing videos, kind of starting new, starting fresh, which could be scary, but it's kind of exciting because it's a new puzzle. For me, it was, how do I get back to just knowing what I need to do and knowing how to break down the work and knowing how to effectively get it out in the world, right? And because that's the new goal, right? It's not to produce software; it's to build the business and help people out along the way. More importantly, helping people out, and we'll grow the business. But you're not here to talk about business philosophy. So, figuring out how in the morning I do the show, I have my planning time, I have a workout, I have, time that I'm creating content, I have time that I'm talking with clients, I have time that I'm reaching out and following up with folks. So kind of rediscovering that, but making that like a actual process that I do every day and can repeat every day is helpful. And then as you grow businesses, I'm sure you realize as soon as you have your process, you can hand it off to someone and say, this is what you got to do to make this work. If you're going to run my marketing, this is what you got to do. If I'm going to do whatever, this is what you got to do. So hope that is helpful. So really, like, the takeaway here is, and I think I want everyone to walk away from in this video is, when you have that forward motion, that's the time to think like, oh, how can I do this better, right? Because you're in a good mood, you are primed to be in work mode, and it will help you progress further, quicker, stronger, more effectively. So that said, if you guys have any questions about pacing or anything we talk about on high performance, personal development, that kind of stuff, please go to seanbutner.com/ask to ask your question, or you can direct message or comment me below wherever you watch this video. Please do the social media thing too and share this with someone you think might needs to hear it. It helps me out and helps them out. So let's help everyone. That's the goal. So, all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for Ask a Coach a Question, where I'll take the questions that you've submitted over this past week and address a couple of situations for you. Looking really forward to that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.